following is a service video on the Bridgesew 8700. Okay, we'll start by showing how to replace the take-up spring. There's a screw right here on this angle, about 4 o'clock, I guess it would be. Loosen that off to bring the screw out, or the tension assembly out. You'll see a screw right here in the end of the tension assembly. Pull that off. You would take the spring out, replace it with another one, and then put a new one back into place. You'll see a groove here on the end of the tension assembly that fits down there on that spring. Keep wiggling it around until you see that it caught that spring, and then just put a little bit of tension on it, not a whole lot. And at that point, keep it held together, tighten it up, push your tension assembly back into place, drop your foot down, line it up so that you don't have to go way in, that it starts pushing the tension assembly out. Just push it until it starts to push it out, and then just swing around. You want that about 11 o'clock, the spring. And then reach over here and tighten back up again. Make sure that you're not too far in, or else you'll have your tension assembly released all the time. So to make sure you've got the tension assembly all the way in, check with your thread. Just make sure you've got a drag on it. And then when you push on with your knee lever to lift your pressure foot up, it should open up, release your tensions. Now in this video, what happens a lot is thread gets caught in the hook assembly, which is this piece here that's turning. That's called the hook assembly. The piece here, right in the middle, is called your bobbin case base. That's what your bobbin goes onto when you put a bobbin in. Okay, this piece here is called the position finger. That holds this base from turning when the hook turns around. Now when you get it caught up with thread, it's going to seize the machine up. What you've got to do is loosen, take off this screw here, which in turn takes this piece off. Then you're going to be able to turn the machine, and both the hook assembly and the base is going to move. What you have to do is keep tapping this around till you get this bobbin case base moving. I normally use 2 screwdrivers so don't hit it too hard. Keep tapping right in there, only it's going to be swung around this way, as in this video. So I've taken the screw out. Boy, that hasn't been out. Okay, so we've taken the position finger off, and now the whole hook assembly and base is going to turn with me. So what I would do is turn it around here so that this opening is facing me. And I'm going to put a screwdriver right in there and tap it with another screwdriver gently so I get it moving. So once I get it freed up and it's turning, like so, I'll line this piece here back up so it's pointing up in the air. And then we just put the position finger back into place again, just like that. Put the screw back in, and you should be all set. So as you can see, I've got the position finger back into place, right there. And I've got the bobbin case back in, so it's staying stationary as we turn the hand wheel on the sewing machine. So if you notice, I've taken the needle plate off, the feed dog and the pressure foot. So we're going to do our timing. I'm going to bring the needle bar all the way down to bottom dead center by turning the hand wheel towards me. Don't turn your hand wheel backwards. You'll notice on the needle bar there is timing marks. So I'm going to bring In other words, if you know if your needle bar is in the proper position, it's adjusted inside here through this service hole. But you'll have one mark that's sitting flush with the bushing. So when you turn the hand wheel towards me and bring it up to the next mark, or 2 millimeters. At that point, you notice I'm advanced on my hook timing slightly. I've already loosened the 2 screws on the hook assembly so that I can turn the hook so that it lines perfectly right in the scarf or the cutaway in the needle. And then I turn the hand wheel towards me and tighten this screw up. Completely around and tighten that one up. And also make sure when you've set your timing up that there's no daylight between the needle and the point of the hook, and that's adjusted this way or that way. Now we got 2 different adjustments here. I'll point out, you get your feed dog height adjustment. That's showing how much teeth is sticking up through the plate when the needle is in its highest position. That looks like a good position there. Then you've got another adjustment to center your feeders, so that when they come back, they don't hit the back part of the plate, or when they come up, they don't hit the front part of the plate on your longest stitch length. So right now, it just comes back, doesn't touch the back part of the plate, or doesn't touch the front. But if you had to adjust that, I loosen this screw right here. I can swing that back and forth to adjust your front to back clearance on your feed dog. If that's okay, you want your feed dogs lower or higher, you would adjust this screw right here. Loosen it and push the feed dogs down, or push this whole feed dog arm assembly up or down, depending on what you want. Now the next adjustment would be your bobbin winder. If you snap this on and it's not turning, there's an adjustment inside you have to do. So you take this screw out, or all 3 screws. There's one here, got the other 2 out. There, one there. Lift the bobbin winder out of the way. Check the rubber, make sure that's okay. And you'll look right down in here, there's a service hole. Pull the plug out. It uses a 3 millimeter Allen key, and you'll go down, you'll see a wheel on the main shaft going across. This wheel here is what turns that bobbin winder. You have to loosen the screws. There's 2 of them, one there and one here. I would loosen the screws, gently push it over to the left just slightly, snug it up, drop the bobbin winder back in. Just watch which position it was when you took it out. So it sits at this angle. Push the bobbin winder over, make sure it's turning before you put the screws back in. Turning. When I release the bobbin winder, it shouldn't turn, which it isn't. So I'd pull that back out, make sure the screws are tight on that wheel, snug it up, and put it back into place. Okay, next I'll show you the pressure foot adjustments. I've taken the 3 screws out here. That off. Make sure the gasket stayed into place. And you'll notice with the lever down, I want to be centered this way. I want to see my foot all the way down. And there should be just a little bit of play with my lever right here. If I'm having any issues at all, you loosen this screw. Keep pressure against that. Make sure the pressure foot is all the way down on the plate. And keep holding this lever here so that it doesn't drop any further. Center it up, and then you tighten the screw. That's all there is to that. That gives you a rundown, a little bit on the servicing of the Bridgesew 8700. I've covered the timing, feed dog adjustments, what happens when you get a thread caught up in the hook assembly, bobbin winder, seeing how to adjust your pressure foot. Of course, this is your pressure on the pressure foot. That's basically it.